Honourable members and guests, please stand for the arrival of Her Honour, the Honourable Vicky O'Halloran, Administrator of the Northern Territory. Members of the Legislative Assembly and guests, please be seated. Darandara Damang Gulingiwa Bachua. Good afternoon, everyone. Nayana Vicky O'Halloran, Administrator. Pay my respects to the Darabinari Bawinjing Naleji Gadalba. I pay my utmost respects to Larrakia Elders past, present, and very importantly emerging, and to all First Nations people. In recent days, we have mourned the passing of our most gracious sovereign, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Being the first monarch to celebrate 70 years on the throne, Her Majesty's life was defined by service to her people, her country, and the Commonwealth. Queen Elizabeth II was tireless in her loyalty, her stability, and her humanity during decades of social, cultural, political, and economic upheaval. When meeting with Territorians, Her Majesty spoke of a profound fondness of the Northern Territory following her 5 visits in 1963, 1974, 1977, 1982 and 2000, during which she spent time in both Darwin, Alice Springs and the surrounding regions. Her memories of our unique culture, art and heritage and the warmth of Territorians reflected both her enduring interest in the diversity of the Commonwealth and her steadfast commitment to learning and understanding that underpinned her life of service. In so many ways, our lives as citizens of the Commonwealth have been defined by the continuity of Queen Elizabeth II as monarch, and her loss will continue to be deeply felt across the Northern Territory, Australia, and around the world. I will now read the official proclamation signed by His Excellency General, the Honourable David Hurley, Governor-General of Australia. Whereas, because of the death of our blessed and glorious Queen Elizabeth II, the Crown has solely and rightfully come to Prince Charles Philip Arthur George. We, therefore, His Excellency General, the Honourable David Hurley, Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, and members of the Federal Executive Council, do now proclaim Prince Charles Philip Arthur George to be King Charles III, by the grace of God, King of Australia and his other realms and territories, head of the Commonwealth, and with hearty and humble affection, we promise him faith and obedience. May King Charles III have long and happy years to reign over us. Given at Canberra this 11th day of September 2022, and in the first year of His Majesty's reign. In the coming days, Territorians, like so many across the Commonwealth, will come together in the spirit of friendship to recognise and to celebrate the Queen's extraordinary life. Her Majesty will be remembered for her remarkable legacy upon which our modern world was built. I wish His Majesty King Charles III a long and notable reign. Long live the King. God save the King.
God save the King. I call on the Chief Minister of the Northern Territory.
Thank you. As Chief Minister, I acknowledge the Larrakia people, the traditional owners on the land of which we gather, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. On behalf of the Northern Territory, I express my sincere condolences to King Charles and all members of the royal family following the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth oversaw the granting of self-government to the people of the Northern Territory, something Territorians will never forget. The Queen visited the Northern Territory, as we have heard, 5 times over many decades, not only visiting Darwin and Alice Springs, but also regional areas. Our thoughts are with the royal family at this time. We recognise her extraordinary life and we welcome King Charles III. Thank you.
I call the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, and I too acknowledge the Larrakia people and their elders past, present and emerging today. Today is a momentous day, both because we mourn the tremendous loss of our Sovereign, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, but also because we welcome and proclaim our new King, His Majesty King Charles III. I would like to start by paying my most deepest heartfelt respects on the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Her Majesty was a courageous, stoic and inspirational leader to millions of people around the globe, and her legacy will be enduring. In His Majesty King Charles III's proclamation speech, he immediately established himself to be a most gracious and dutiful king, a king that without a shadow of a doubt will serve the good people of the Northern Territory, Australia and our cousins around the world. His Majesty King Charles III has given his life to service, and under the nurturing guidance of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, he has learned from the greatest teacher of all. We are truly blessed. Parliaments around the Commonwealth are meeting today with a common purpose: to pay respects to our beloved Queen, whose love for us and our love of her knew no bounds, and to celebrate who in the days, weeks and years ahead will embark on the greatest of services. Our King is a friend to the Territory, as was our Queen, and we look forward to welcoming you back, this time as our King. Long live the King.
Thank you, honourable members and guests. Thus concludes proceedings. Please stand for the departure of Her Honour the Administrator.